So this is another take on how we organize Flutter. And again, teams do it very differently. And I've seen it, read it a bunch, and I didn't really, kind of ignored it for a while and then got hung up on how we were doing it. And then, you know what? Let's try this. And if it's wrong, you'll tell me in the comments like you always do, right? So we're talking about Flutter. The default pack, well, first let's go back. All right. So for the purpose of the discussion, we're only going to talk about web, iOS, and Android. We're going to ignore desktop, and because you can take the same Flutter app and deploy it in these 6 different platforms. We're going to look at the 3 on the right, and we need to set up a project structure so that we can have some reuse all our Flutter code in one place, and then we can deploy it either as a web app or, in my case, in an enterprise, you're going to end up embedded in an existing application because you want to do incremental migration. And then the other option is you might have a test jig, or you might not be doing incremental migration and embedding it in a native app that already exists. In that case, you'd build it as an application. So the default project structure, I kind of showed this in a directory in another talk, is this, right? A lib directory and test, which I ignored here for the purpose of this, but if you ignore it, we don't want you to interview with us anywhere I work. And the idea here is that you can have a Flutter web, Android, and iOS in the same project, and you get those 3 directories created for you. And it just works pretty much, right? So you can do this kind of standalone application, or you can do test jigs that way. But in our case, it turns out we actually want the ability, in some cases, to make an app a standalone, and in some cases, we want to make it and plug into an existing application, and in some cases, we want both, because I want a test jig. I want something to demo. I really don't want to go integrating this with our app every time I have to do something, right? Like hot reload and a bunch of other stuff works way better if you got fewer moving parts, right? Less things to go wrong. So in our case, we're basically going to take the lib that we had in the previous slide, and we're going to convert that into a package project. And so that package project will create a Flutter package. And that package can either be published somewhere, or you can just do .. / blah, 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 blah packages, references, and you are good to go. And then you could do this all in a mono repo and not have to put intermediate assets out, you know, for like building the app part. And you can do that with other packages, right? You're not limited to the package that we had in the previous. It could be a whole bunch of packages. I have a style package. I've got a menu set of packages. I've got, I don't know, rendering package, whatever it is. Okay, and then the question is what projects exist, right? So on the bottom, we have basically an app project. And this could actually be, well, no. So sometimes, like the previous one, we had the package and the app project was actually one project. But in this case, we broke the apps out. And so we have a single app project, and that could have a web, an Android, and an iOS. And the web app might either be deployed standalone, or it might be deployed in an iframe or something that actually an HTML element or something else that makes it look like part of an existing web app, right? And so the one across the top, what I kind of was trying to get across the bottom is these would be kind of the standalone applications, but you could take the same code basically and create a web package, an AAR, a framework package, and embed them. So you take your Flutter package, all your Flutter code goes in there, you create a module project, and you tell it what mobile devices you want the modules for, and then you could do a Flutter build AAR, Flutter build iOS package, I think it is. I'd have to go look. Oh, what was it? Anyway, framework package? I don't know. And those would build AARs that would go into the existing apps. Now, if the existing Android and iOS app are in the same repo, you actually could do this in an integrated build the other apps, and then build the AAR or the framework package, and then finish building the other app. In a lot of cases, those things exist in other repos, so you basically publish an AAR or framework package, and then those are imported into the existing Android and iOS app. So the net part is the 3 boxes across the top represent your existing app that we're going to integrate into. The module project represents the way we're going to do the integration with each of those, and a single module project can support all of those, and the project at the bottom are standalone. The module project and the app project for web could be the same one. Matter of fact, we do that sometimes. I just did it here because it made a prettier symmetrical picture if I did it like this. But basically, you'd end up with purple, green, and red. And you have your existing apps where you would plug these in. And we'll talk about how they're plugged in another talk. And leave feedback. If I'm wrong, man, tell me. If it's right or you need another talk, tell me that too. Have a great day.